Hello, in today's video, I will be explaining how a first round pick, basically a first round quarterback, is very similar to life. And if you understand the trajectory and the circumstances that a first round NFL quarterback goes through and how that pertains to life, you can achieve great things. You're basically going to find a way to win in life because you understand how the two correlate. And I'll explain how the two correlate right now. So, there's 17 games in an NFL season, right? There's 32 teams. This is the worst team. This is a team that's in the middle of the pack, and this is a team that is close to winning a Super Bowl. They're close to contending for a Super Bowl. This team won a playoff game. This team was in the middle of the pack, didn't win a playoff game, won a few nice games, lost majority of their games, and this team was doomed from the start. Now, 12-5 team usually has a team. This is a team with a good record, but also it's more than that. This is a team with stability. This is a team that has connections because, hey, they can hire certain coaches. They can hire certain management. They can sign certain players because these players are attached to good coaching and they want to play for a contender. This team has, like I said, a good company culture, positive vibes, no turmoil, no lack of support. The fans show up. They're not switching quarterbacks, switching general managers, switching coaches in and out year after year after year. As far as the team over here, I put a question mark because they can inherit turmoil. They can inherit lack of support. They can find themselves going towards this. But they can also find themselves going in this direction with connections and stability. So you can think of this as lower class, middle class, upper class. Whether or not you believe there is a middle class, that's neither here nor there. Just bear with me for this video, and let's all agree that there is a middle class for the sake of this video. So, a team that is 3-14. I mentioned company culture, team culture. There is no team culture. There is no stability. There are no fans. This team sucks. This team has probably sucked for a decade. You know what teams I'm talking about. I don't have to talk about those teams. There's probably 5 teams that come to mind that are always within this record. They suck. Then you can think of those teams that haven't won a playoff game in some time, but they're never bad enough to get the worst player. Or they're never bad enough to have the worst pick. Because, they're middle of the pack, they're average, they inherit a little bit of everything. They're you ask yourself, this team they're always never, within contention for competing for a championship. But at the same time, I can think of a handful of teams that have always been worse than them. And this is not really the best place to be. Because this is not the best place to be. Obviously, this is the best place to be. This is the worst place to be. But being over here, it may be you are too conservative, you're too complacent, and you're not taking risks. So as far as life, you need to be taking more risks to get over here. You need to lead. You need to learn how to lead. A quarterback that gets his team in this position was once upon a time in this position, once upon a time in this position, but they have a quarterback that can lead. They have a stable quarterback, a quarterback that is available, that is ready to go. They have a quarterback that has good connections with his teammates. So there's not drama in the locker room. As far as this team, he has good connection with his teammates. They have the same coaching, same GM, but the owner is just terrible. The owner is doing some stupid stuff on the side, and just a lack of support because maybe that team is just not popular. So whenever they have home games, opposing fans they take over. And how does this relate to life? Let's go back to how this relates to life. When you're a star quarterback, you don't go over here. You're not over here because you're good enough to get your team over here or over here. But when you're brand new, when you're getting drafted into the NFL, you're starting over here, buddy. You're on the worst team. You're on a poverty franchise. And in life, you don't pick and choose how you come up. You're born into whatever you're born into. You're thrusted into whatever you're thrusted into. So you just inherit whatever you inherit. You inherit turmoil, lack of support, lack of stability, no connections, no culture, no values. It's just really bad. And it's been like this for a long time. Just like how these franchises have been poverty for a long time. Maybe your family, maybe your neighborhood, your environment has been rather poor for a long time. Okay, you have a lot going against you. The odds are stacked against you. The chances of you going from here to here aren't impossible, but immediately are doing that immediately is like rare. You just don't do that. It just doesn't happen. You can go from here to here for sure. You can do that for sure in one season. You can do that in your life. Honestly, you really can. If you're serious, if you don't make so many excuses, if you hold yourself accountable, if you're responsible, if you learn how to lead, if you do those things, you can get over here in one season. So just think about that in your life. There's so many different seasons. Think about it. Fall, winter, summer, spring. In one season, if you were able to lead, if you were able to take accountability, be responsible, make the most of what you have, don't make excuses, have positive energy that you're on the rise, create connections with people. Imagine if you did that for, let's say 2 seasons, 2 seasons, okay? Let's say you did that spring and summer. Imagine where you would be. You'd be over here. Okay, let's say you did the exact same thing that got you here in the fall, and then you did it again in the winter. By the next spring, a year later, you would be in like the 23 range, right? Somewhere in between. So just do it for another 2 seasons, and you'd probably be at 30. You might even be contending for a Super Bowl. So, what does a team that gets over here do? They take risks. They take risks by trading for players. They trade away their picks for players. They go for it on 4th down, like things like that. They take risks. They don't sign big boy contracts because they understand later down the line that may come back to haunt them. They are smart with their money, just like rich people. Generally, they make smart money decisions, smart financial decisions. They're keeping their same core players. Basically, this team, they don't know what to do. They'll sign anybody. They're so down bad. They have money to spend. They're just going to sign anybody they're overpaying for some people because they know they can't just convince them, like, we're a winner. No, just come get this check. We need enough players to come get this check to create support. Like, we signed this guy. This guy's awesome. This guy's not really going to, correlate to wins, but, he'll score some touchdowns. Yeah. Just to get some support going, at least. And they just give out terrible contracts. You give out terrible contracts. You don't create connections. You enable yourself to inherit a lot of turmoil rather than taking risks and trading away or trading up to get a good player. You trade one of these teams to get a really good player, and you find yourself, stable, within contention. So just think about that as you move forward in life, because life has different seasons, and in each season, you have to make certain moves, and you have to go back and then figure out what worked for you. Continue to do that. Continue to move up. The number 14 overall team is thinking about what it's going to take to get to over here. The number 1 overall team is, to be honest with you, not even thinking about over here, because they've always been over here. This is all they know. If they get over here, that is a major win for their fan base. Major win. Major. So just think about that moving forward, what it's going to take for you to be like the rich, the upper class, the contenders of the league, basically. What's it going to take for you to be there? Think about that as you move forward in life and understand, yes, you didn't inherit certain things. The odds may be stacked against you. Maybe you got drafted over here. The odds are not so stacked against you. You're going to have an opportunity to be on a really good team from day one. and you're in a good culture, you're in a good system, so on and so forth, you have the ability to thrive better than somebody over here. You want to thrive regardless of what you have going on for you, regardless of what you have to work for you, what resources you may or may not have. You have something and you have to work with whatever you have. You cannot continue to make excuses. You cannot dwell on the past about this is how it's always been. No, you have to be the person to change that. You have to know that you can change that. You are the star quarterback. You're the quarterback that's coming in on that rookie deal, and eventually you get the big boy check because you're taking your team over here. So think about that moving forward. Hold yourself accountable. Be responsible. Become the best quarterback. Become the best version of you. Lead your team to success and see what happens. Thank you.